Good morning, everybody in TV land. This is Mike Hittner and Tom Brehmer with me this morning. We're doing our Historic Point Basse update. So I'd like to welcome you. A little chilly out there. Had to wear a jacket today. I think Tom came in without one, but I think he's got everything he owns on. So, I'd like to welcome you this morning, and we want to talk a little wrap up on an event that Tom has been in charge of. It's our cast iron cooking and primitive cooking type of class that we hold in September, and it's on 4 Tuesdays in September. Tom just wrapped it up last week with the potluck. Tom, how did everything go?
Potluck is today.
Oh, tonight.
Yeah, on the 30th. That's our graduation potluck. And we had about 10 students, which is about what we were shooting for.
No, were those 10 new students, Tom?
Yeah, we had
that's good.
A couple of repeats from last year that wanted to do it again, and they had a good time, and I take that as a compliment. But they're going to be bringing their own food this time and cooking in either their cast iron or whatever primitive cooking method, or using some of ours that we have to lend them.
Now, will some people be also using the stove in the house?
I believe so, yes. Yeah. We talked about it last week so that we would don't have everybody doing exactly the same thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, 10 desserts would be fine, but you really should have a little something else.
A little protein before that.
Yeah. So we've got a pretty good variety from what I remember, and so it should work out fine. And I've already had somebody sign up for next year.
Really?
Yes. Lady didn't realize that we were doing this. A friend of my wife, well, friend of ours, I should say, not just my wife's, but they happened to run into each other, and she asked what we were doing, and she told her, and she has an interest in history stuff, kind of follows some of the Civil War reenactment sort of things, and so my wife says, well, we'll put you down, and he'll contact you
next August or
next
something.
year, and we'll get you signed up for the Tuesday night class.
Wonderful.
We thought that was kind of really cool.
Yeah, maybe that's the first we've had that signed up like a year in advance.
Yeah.
So that was kind of nice, and you hope as long as there's interest to do it every September.
Yeah. As long as there's interest, we'll do them. You pay $15. That's for 3 weeks of classes, and that covers our ingredients to cook.
Yeah, you're just trying to basically
just
break even on this to cover the expenses, and then what else goes into it for the people besides the payment?
They agree to 15 hours of service at our site. Now they could rake leaves, they could do typing, they could do carpentry work, they could become a reenactor, or at least a facilitator in some way.
Gatekeeper
that isn't anything.
Right.
That where we use our own people, they could fill in or learn about, and it sounds like a lot of time. Well, it's 2 days in the course of 365,
right?
Or 4 half days, and it goes quickly, as we know.
And a lot of the people in the past that have taken the class have become active in our organization in different capacities, but and that's kind of what we learned about this in Ohio at one of our MOMC conferences, which is a kind of a national historic reenactors group, and the Midwest one holds conferences this year in Midland, Michigan, which we're going to, about 4 or 5 of us. And what Tom and I learned at one of these things is that this Ohio group did this class in the same basic way, and they got a lot of volunteers out of it. And so that's our way of reaching out and getting people maybe wetting their feet a little bit about what they're doing and how they do it, so that they become involved with us if they want to.
Yeah, and if you do, fine. And I told them right from the get-go, I says, no, nobody's going to be keeping track of your hours.
Right.
This is between you and us, and you're in charge of it. You do.
Right.
We'll invite you, we'll keep telling you when we have opportunities, and you need to step up and
fulfill that 15 hours.
And if it would come up an hour short or a few hours over, all the better.
Yes, yeah, good. Well, I'm glad you had a successful class, and I know it's a lot of work for you.
It's a little hectic, but it's fun.
You kind of enjoy it, but cranking up for it takes a little time and effort, and of course you like to experiment or try some of the recipes first to see if it works. I know you did something with eggs this year with clay, and that didn't quite work the way you wanted it. But,
but we're going to try it again next year. We worked out something a little better.
Yeah, so I know you work on that a lot, and thanks for your efforts in that behalf, because it kind of spreads the word about us and about things that we enjoy. So next event we got coming up at the site is actually brand new for us. It's not put on by us, it's put on by a historical reenactors, trekkers group. It's a national group, and the Midwest group or whatever is going to partake in this, and we're lending them the use of the site for this, and this is, most of our buildings won't be open just because we're not putting it on. There may be a few buildings that people are participating out there and just decided, well, I want a blacksmith. In other words, I'm going to go down there and pound a little iron and make a few things, that sort of thing. But these historic reenactors are very much purists. I mean,
very serious about
Tom and I are kind of semi-purists, but we're not what you'd call purists. And these people, you know, doesn't matter what kind of weather, they're going to camp out. They're going to, their camps are all historically accurate. Their dress is accurate, and they're going to portray and do different crafts and trades and that sort of thing. So there may be some birch bark making of some things. Basswood might be making rope out of basswood bark and that sort of thing. So all these things will be historic trades from that era that they're portraying. Mm-hmm. And I think it'd be very interesting for the public. It's free. Come on out. It's on Saturday, October 4th and Sunday, October 5th. On Saturday, it's 9 to 4. On Sunday, it's 9 to 2. They have a little shorter day because they got to break up. Some of these people come from quite a distance and they have to get home. So it's a good opportunity if you want to come out and just kind of sit and watch and ask questions and everything. It's a different group than we normally have. Now, some of the things we have at our festival, some of those people, reenactors, are very similar to this, but it's
a couple of these have been at our festival.
Yes, yeah. So I think it should be kind of interesting. A lot of us are going to go out just so we can learn some things. I mean, it's an opportunity for us to expand our knowledge on the things that they did in the era so that they did them. And
it's going to feel a little strange to go to an event on our site and not have to work a week ahead of time or the week after. I'm going to kind of enjoy this.
Yeah, it'll be kind of fun just to sit back and enjoy the day and learn a lot of stuff. So we invite you folks that are interested. It's on Saturday, October 4th, from 9 to 4, and Sunday, October 5th, from 9 to 2. And that's a historical reenactors, trekkers group that'll be out there, and they'll be probably about 8 encampments, and they're going to do a different historic reenactment and everything, and you're welcome to come on out and just enjoy the day. And it's free and open to the public, and so we welcome you to come out to that event. It's kind of a first, and we're kind of trying this to see how this works, and we've had some inquiries in the past from a Civil War group, maybe about using the site for something, so it's kind of a testing thing to see how it works out for us and for them and for the public. And
I'm kind of hoping it works.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's kind of nice. We've got a beautiful site, and we're there about 6 or 8 days of the year other than student groups. So it'd be kind of nice to use that site a little more because it's a beautiful site, and the layout is beautiful there. So I think the groups can really get into it there. So come on out if you get a chance. It's Historical Reenactors Group, October 4th and 5th out at the site, Historic Point Basse site. Now we're going to talk about something that Tom and I keep talking about this, that, oh, we really enjoy this one. We really enjoy that one. Well, I guess maybe we really enjoy them all, but I think maybe this is one of our favorites. It's our Spirit Walk, and it's something we've done now probably for about 12 years or 14 years.
Even, in the current, we kind of did it a little bit before that.
Right,
but
not in the current format that we're doing it, but the format we're doing it, we've been doing it about 10 or 12 years, and that's on the last 2 Saturdays of October. This year it happens to be the 18th and 25th. And it goes from 6 to 9 p.m. 6 we recommend early, light out a little bit if people have trouble walking or a little concerned. I just talked to Tom here at Public Access. They're going to come out, and I says, well, you come out early, because if you're going to film this, you have to do it in the light hours. And they have been out in previous years to film and everything. So we suggest people that have walking problems, or they're worried a little bit about where they're going to step, because our terrain is uneven. It's historic site, it's just what's there. And come out early. The last group goes out at about 8:30. Because we're say 6 to 9, but that takes about an hour for a rotation for you to go around, and you're guided by guides that'll kind of talk a little bit in between, kind of prepare you for the next stop, and they'll also have a tail guide so nobody gets lost, and they're lantern led, so they use lanterns, either kerosene or candle lanterns, to lead you about. And usually groups, we like kind of 10 or 12, sometimes we've got 3 or 4, sometimes we got 30. I mean, it just depends on how, sometimes families and groups or associations come together and they want to go together, so we put them together as best we can.
And it is haunted history. It's not
scary.
Yeah, it's not the spook house. They're legends and tales of the pioneer times, told by people who would represent those spirits, if you will.
Yes.
And each year we try to vary them as much as we can.
Generally, there's about a 3 to 4 year rotation if possible. So if you were out last year, you'll probably not hear the same things at all this year, because it's a variation. Maybe if you came back in 3 years, yeah, you might hear what you heard last year or something like that. But we try to vary it so it's interesting for you, the public, also interesting for us. We don't care to do the same thing all the time or anything. So it's a great event. We have a lot of fun putting it on, either as guides or as spirits. This year Tom is going to be a spirit, so it's kind of fun, and I won't even talk about his, because his is so much different than his regular character that you'd never hardly figure out what he's going to do. But
I haven't figured out exactly what
I'm going to do yet. Well, you got about a month to work.
I've got a pretty good rough outline, but
Yeah.
I've got 3 weeks yet, or a couple of weeks to sort of get this thing nailed.
Yeah, well, part of Tom's problem is he could probably talk for 10 minutes, but he wants to hone it down to probably 3 to 5 minutes.
3 to 4, yeah.
Yeah, and so most of the stops are in the 3 to 5 minute range, and so you go there. And this year there'll be somebody in the barn. In fact, Tom will be in the barn. And there'll be some gentlemen, business traveling men, that'll be outside the house and take you into the house. And then there'll be somebody in the warehouse this year. And we'll have somebody in the trader's cabin. And then in the campsite behind the trader's cabin, we'll have a Civil War soldier back there. And then either in the graveyard, we're trying to massage this one a little bit, or behind the schoolhouse somewhere, we'll have a couple haunted gals there one weekend, and then a traveling minister or something on the other weekend. And then, of course, the blacksmith shop. There'll be something there, it's traditionally been, and telling the lores of the blacksmith or some story, that sort of thing. And then, of course, in the schoolhouse. So usually about 8 stops. It takes about an hour, dress appropriate for the weather. We've been very, very fortunate over the years. We've had very, very inclement weather. It's been cold or it's been whatever, but we haven't had any big...
Never had hard rain.
No. Had a little rain, a little drizzle or something.
But never had a real bad...
So it's been very well received by the public. It's very reasonable, $4 for adults, $2 for students, anybody in school, and preschoolers are free. Preschoolers could enjoy it, probably, if they're 3 or older. Below that, I mean, certainly if you've got children, you're going to bring the family, you can bring them along. I don't think they're probably will get quite as much out of it as somebody that was probably 3 or 4 and up, that sort of thing.
That's part of why they're free.
And there's usually some trolls too.
Oh yes. You've got to have a little bit of the...
I haven't been down there, Tom. Is the creek level down? Can a troll...
Reasonable, yes.
For a while the river was so high and it was kind of dammed up, they were holding it, and then of course the creek kind of dams itself up, and so it gets kind of high for us even. A few days there we wondered if we could get through on the walking trail.
But it's much better.
Yeah, good. So that's a good opportunity. It'll be October 18th and 25th, the last 2 Saturdays of October, and it's always that. And it's from 6 to 9 p.m. If you'd like to make reservations or something, go to our website and check it out there, or call Tom or I. And if you got a group, sometimes we've had groups of Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts that are Red Hatters that have wanted to come down, and they want to come in a group and they want to come and go out about 7:30. Well, then we can arrange that if we got that in advance. If you come down and we got 2 groups ahead of you, well, everybody has to wait their chance. Of course, we got hot apple cider for you, got some storytelling. So there's fire by the area where you wait, and so it's not a long wait, and usually it's entertaining, so it's fun that way.
Yeah, the folks there do a good job, and they get them out about every 10 minutes. They send out a group.
Yes.
So that's 6 groups an hour.
Right.
That's about as fast as we can.
Right. And if the spirits stick to that 3 to 5 minutes, it works pretty good.
It's a passing time.
Yeah. Otherwise, sometimes in the past, we've had a little delay in a certain site, and then it kind of backs people up. But the guides are kind of aware of that, and they'll just kind of hold up and tell you some story or some knowledge about the Wakely site or something maybe that most of the public doesn't know about or something like that. So
it's a really fun event. Like I say, we have as much fun as the people do.
Right.
And you get to be your character, whichever one that happens to be. I certainly am not going to be in my normal persona, but I get to be somebody. Maybe we're all frustrated actors. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
But it's kind of neat to be able to do this. And by the time you get done, and by the way, I forgot to mention, each week some things will be different.
Mm-hmm.
Not everything.
Right. There's 2 or 3 sites there where one week you might have certain characters, the next week you'll have something else. Just because some people are only available one weekend and the second weekend or vice versa, they couldn't make it, that sort of thing. So, and we got some participants again from community theater, which is very nice. We've had a nice working relationship with them over the years, and between Whodunit and the Spirit Walk, I mean, they've come out. Mm-hmm. Now, Tom's character, which I'm not going to go into, but it's another one of those offshoots of MOMCC, where we go to these historic conferences, Midwest ones, and we see something that we say, oh, the light bulb went on right away for Tom, and he says, hey, we could do this.
Yeah.
And it was, the beauty of it is it's really quite easy to do this. It's the where do you cut the line or draw the line, because it's something I think almost anybody could do it. Mm-hmm. You just got to be a little bit.
Imagination run a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
And some of us never quite grew up, so that's easy.
Well, we've had people come back sometimes to 2 of our Spirit Walks because they liked it so much, and maybe some relatives came into town, they said to themselves, hey, let's take them. So they've come back, and they're quite surprised, and Tom and I will admit to it, the presentations are never the same. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we forget one thing, but we add something else or whatever, so the presentations, just like in our normal personas, are pretty much never alike either. Because when we're working with students, and we do have a lot of student groups down there, last Friday they had St. Vincent's 5th graders. I was out of town, so Tom and Johan filled in a little bit for town ball, which I do sometimes with the kids and everything. And then actually we got about 4 more groups between now and the end of October. So we're kind of busy through October too. We usually don't take any groups like the Friday before any of our Spirit Walks, just because we have to rearrange things, and it gets to be a little bit of a hassle to rearrange everything, because the rooms sometimes are set different for different situations. So, but we've been having fun this fall with school groups, and we really enjoy them coming out, and I think the kids really love it. We get that feedback every time from these little, especially the little shavers, 1st, 2nd graders. They come out in the summer with Grandma and Grandpa and say, oh, yeah, I know all about that. And then they go and start to show Grandma and Grandpa how this works or what it was used for. And sometimes as interpreters there, we don't know if anybody's getting anything out of this or not at the time.
They do. I have them stop me on the street. Mm-hmm. And as I told one of the teachers from St. Vincent's yesterday, or Friday.
Last Friday.
Friday, that was it, yeah. She thanked me and all of us for what we did, and the kids had such a good time. And I said, so you think we didn't?
Yeah.
But that's our pay, is when kids enjoy it and learn something, even though they don't realize they're learning a thing.
Right. They just think they're out on a lark for a day off of school.
Great day out of school. Yeah, I'm with my friends and the teachers along to make sure I behave, but,
Yeah.
you know, and they don't realize how much they absorb.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a, I don't,
Sneaky way of teaching.
Yeah, you're sneaking it in on them and they don't know it.
Right.
And that's what kind of makes it really fun.
Well, and I think for us in our day in school, which is many moons ago, I think both of us would have learned that and then got probably more interested in history at an earlier age if we had been to a place like this or been exposed to it.
I mean,
Yeah.
even local ones.
Well, the only field trip I ever remember is like 8th grade.
Yeah.
For 8th grade, they had a field trip to, I don't know where we went, to Madison or South the Capitol or something.
Went
and
to
did
the
a few-
fire station a couple of times
Yeah.
during Fire Prevention Week. Well,
Right.
this is a whole day, or could be a whole day, some of them are half days, where they can come out and participate. And I had a couple of kids there this year that were at the 5th grade from St. Vincent's that had been in a different school last year in 4th grade.
Oh, transfer.
And been out, had transferred. And, oh, I know about this, or when are we going to do, you know, and I'm
Oh, yeah.
you were here before, that's what I
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Quiet, don't
Yeah,
listen for grass.
yeah.
And they had a great time.
Yes.
And, like the fourth, 5th graders from that age group up, we do tomahawk throwing in the afternoon. And they look at you like, we're going to do what? And they have a ball.
Yeah.
And of course, the parents and teachers also have to
Participate. Did you get a few to stick it this year?
I did. There was a couple of the gals did, the young gals, and I think a couple of the boys, and then I think 3 of the teachers did.
Oh, yeah, because I think you had just 3 teachers there.
Well, we had some parents too,
Yeah.
and you can't always tell
who's the teacher.
and who's the parent, but they did a nice job. Kenny did some log sawing with them. Of course, they made candles with Johan.
Yes.
And then we played town ball, and that's an interesting thing. I didn't have to pitch. Some of the teachers pitched.
Okay.
Johan was going to, and by the time he got over there, one of the teachers had jumped in and said, well, I'll do it. And I go, hey,
Yeah.
all the better.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
and they had a good time.
Well, sometimes with the town ball, you know, it can get a little, you know, wild on the wild side, just because it's the last thing and it's kind of like recess. And if you got a teacher out there, sometimes there's a little more command of the kids than
And
we
a couple
have.
of the other parents sort of were umpires in the field.
Right.
And that made it nice too,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they did a nice job. It was, and these were 5th graders, so they're just that much older, which makes it even better.
Mm-hmm.
But they had a good time. I mean, and it was kind of pretty much a tie game too, so
Was
that
it?
made it
Yeah.
nice.
Did they have girls versus boys, or
No,
did they
just-
split it
did
up
the
by
two
groups?
The 2 groups that they did with the candle dipping, they did one against the other. So it was a good mix.
Yes.
And like I say, one of the teachers pitched for the one team, and one of the moms pitched for another team.
Mm-hmm.
And they both did, I mean, just...
And you had beautiful weather. I think you were probably 75, 78 degrees.
Just
Hot.
warm, but it was good.
No, we won't complain today, of
No,
course,
no.
because today it's like 50 degrees. So
But
it's,
it was a good time. I enjoyed the school groups.
and we encourage any folks, parents or grandparents or teachers or whatever that might see this, administrators or parents of students, to let your school know if they don't come out. We certainly encourage them to come out. We have most all the 2nd grades in the Wisconsin Rapids School District. We've got a few of the 4th grades. We like all school groups, especially 4th grade, because they're teaching the Wisconsin history. Now, if you want to, you know, dovetail that with we've got a curriculum for 4th grade history that's written by teachers, and it's got all the bells and whistles that it's supposed to have in it. So that's a good opportunity to teach it in the classroom, then bring them out to the site, which is beautiful. And we encourage any of you to give us a call if you're interested in that, or check our website and email or whatever, and we can Stella Michaels does the managing of the school groups pretty much for us and sets it up and everything. So it's a great opportunity to come out and really enjoy the day. So we're going to just tell you a little bit, and a little bit of a wrap up here, that the Trekkers Association, it's a historic trekkers and reenactors group, will be out on Saturday, October 4th from 9 to 4. and Sunday, October 5th, from 9 to 2. This is a group that's using our site. Our buildings won't all be open. We'll be there, but we'll probably be in civvies because it's our opportunity to learn and to enjoy it from the other side of the aisle, so to speak. And so we invite you to come out for that and see that. It's free. If you want to make a donation, that's fine, but it's free to you, the public, to come out. And we just want to have our site used a little bit more, and this was an opportunity to try that, and we hope to go on from there. And then also, be aware of our Spirit Walks, which are on the last 2 Saturdays of October, the 18th and 25th this year, 6 to 9 p.m. at the site. The last group goes out at 8:30. If you'd like to make reservations, if you got a group you want to bring out, do that. That'd be great. And that's $4 for adults, $2 for students. Preschoolers are free, of course. So thanks a lot for listening. Thanks, Tom, for coming on today, and Historic Point Basse update. Mike Hittner, thank you.